AITAH for accusing my GF of cheating. July 21st, 2024. I will try to make this brief, but I am emotional, so we will see how this goes. For the purpose of this post, I female 34 will be Ali and my GF of 1 year female 34 will be Sunny. I wasn't looking for love when I met Sunny, and I half expected it to fizzle out when we first started dating. To be clear, she's just out of my league. She's bubbly, outgoing, sweet, and popular in IWFH, and have one true friend, Beverly F35. We started talking about moving in together and I was all on board. I currently live with Bev, but she is thinking about moving in with her BF when our lease is up in November anyway. So the plan was for Sunny to move in with me after. Recently it's been a lot. My dad was diagnosed with cancer in January, and then Mom called to tell me that my grandfather passed suddenly of a heart attack in February. Then in March my sister was in a horrible car accident. Things finally started to be somewhat calm since April. But then Sunny went from very supportive and super sweet to quieter, and she put a screen lock on her phone, and in the past month she stopped leaving her laptop logged in. Her tablet now has a password, and she's been taking longer phone calls in her car or going out with friends longer. She's also just not been that affectionate. She's been intense, asking me 1,000 questions, like just recently she's been weirdly asking me if I haven't introduced her to all my friends, and if there are friends she might not know about. I went out with friends one night, and when I got home, she asked me with who and then didn't know the names, and asked why I never introduced her. I tend to be laid back, and I don't generally need to know where she is or who she is with all the time, and she used to be the same. But this behavior made me wonder what might be going on. Then this past week, I noticed she and one of my friends, Jason M40, had been hanging out more. His name would pop up on her notifications while we were together, and she would turn the phone over or leave the room with her phone. Last night we were drinking and watching Netflix, and she went to the bathroom and put her phone down but didn't lock it. I saw Jason's name pop up and I opened the messages. A lot of the conversations were deleted, but he had messaged her, "Hey, Ali is acting weird. Does she know?" My heart sank. I just tried to focus on staying calm, knowing we both were drunk by this point. When she came back, she saw me with her phone and asked, "What are you doing?" All alarmed, I handed the phone to her and asked if there was something she wanted to tell me, and she just stared at me, so I made a bluff and said, "Hey, I know about you and Jason, so you want to tell me?" She sat her day down and just asked if I went through her phone. I asked her why it would bother her if she has nothing to hide. She asked me if I asked Jason, and I just asked if they are having some sort of affair. She got really still and just quietly asked if that's what I thought, and I explained everything I outlined here. I said that I've been cheated on by my ex-boyfriend, and she's acting just like he was when I was starting to figure it out. Sunny offered for me to look through her phone, but I said I know she deleted the conversation. When she asked what she can do to prove it to me that's she not cheating, I really didn't have an answer. We sat there in silence for a while, and I just got up and went to bed. Sunny didn't come to bed, and when I got up this morning, it's clear she slept on the couch, but she also wasn't there. I figured she went home, so I messaged her, but she hasn't responded. Am I the ma for accusing her? She's acting so odd, and this doesn't make sense. She knows cheating is a deal breaker for me. I've messaged Jason, but he hasn't responded to me either, and I am starting to question everything. Update 1 July 22nd, 2024. I managed to schedule in a late session with my therapist. I am in regular therapy due to past issues and came up with some language and talking points. When I got home, I also strategies with my roommate Bev. Bev said I shouldn't jump to conclusions and was behaving like Sunny is my scumbag ex, and that isn't fair. I told her I am planning to give Sunny a chance to clear everything up. I called Sunny, but she didn't answer, which Bev did bring up she could be working. She works odd hours as she works in the arts, and we usually have a Google Calendar to keep up with each other's work hours and the like. I looked it up, and she was scheduled to be working, so I sent her a text. The text essentially outlined what I said in my first post, that her behavior is not exactly above board, and the secretive nature of it lends to my questions, specifically Jason's text that I saw and the deleted conversations. I said that if she's with Jason, then be with him, but don't jerk me around, it's cruel and manipulative to things I would never expect her to be. I said I was well on my way to thinking I loved her, and this has broken my heart, and the fact that she was not there when I woke up spoke volumes. I expect an explanation by EOD, or I will simply put the few items she left over my place in a box at the front door for her to pick up and take to Jason's. I then texted Jason, and I admit this was not the plan. I was emotional and frustrated because Sunny saw my message, and I could see her typing but then stopping and typing and stopping, and I was just wanting her to either explain herself or confess. So I texted Jason a similar message. explaining that I thought our friendship would be stronger than this, and just because my GF is bi he had to take advantage. It wasn't fair of him, as he knows my history with being cheated on, and he knows how deeply it hurt me. I expected more from him, and I intend to not sugarcoat it when our friends ask what happened to us. Well, Jason actually responded with suggesting we have brunch today. I woke up anxious about it. I would prefer her just confess over text, but now I have to deal with face to face. But I want to know what the fuck they were thinking, and why, so here I am a full 30 minutes early, sitting in my car waiting for the shop to open. I really don't know what to expect, and I haven't really had a chance to cry it all out yet. I have my job, and at home Bev keeps saying I am overreacting and need to calm down, and it's just irritating. I've had no quiet place to think and cry and just let it all out yet. I guess I will after brunch. Fingers crossed it will be brief and I can start moving on. Update 2, July 22nd, 2024. 2 hours later. I'm a fucking asshole. After my last post, I got out of my car and walked around for a moment to think and calm down. I took a suggestion from the comments and downloaded a voice recorder app on my phone and started recording before I got back to the shop. I walked in and Jason was there, with Sunny. As soon as I saw them sitting together, I knew my relationship was over, so I said as much when I approached. I just said, "Oh, so we're over then," and Sunny stood up and started saying she can explain and that I didn't understand. I just laughed and mentioned that I did ask before what was happening, and she didn't seem to want to explain, and that said enough. I rehashed everything: the locked devices, passwords, the shifty behavior, the deleted texts. She can't look me in the eye and tell me she's that stupid or thinks I am. Sunny just shrunk at that and didn't look me in the eye. That's what I thought I was saying, and looked at Jason, but he just stared at me. He was calm and just asked me to please sit down, so I did, and put my phone and keys on the table in front of me, as if ready to leave at any moment. Jason said that he didn't reply to my text right away because Sunny had called hysterical and hung over saying I thought she was cheating, so he and Bev went over to Sunny's to calm her down and talk it out. He wanted Sunny to explain it, but she was too nervous after I had basically said she was just like my cheating ex. She figured I wouldn't believe a word she had to say. Apparently this was all a misunderstanding. I've had such a shit year that Sunny went to Jason, Bev, and a few other friends with the idea of making a huge deal of my 35th birthday in August. As I have complained of never really having a party for my birthday, I didn't somewhat plan true, so she's been spending months planning this out. She rented out a local bar for the night of, invited my friends and swore them all to secrecy, ordered my favorite food for catering, decorations and the works. She said she started getting nervous. The surprise would be ruined, because we are always casually on each other's devices, so a friend suggested she delete the convos she even showed me in the group chat she had with my friends with the timestamp of a few months back where that suggestion came from. They showed me the receipts for the rental for the bar, the pre-ordered catering, a photo booth and so on. She said she uses Messenger, so she had to lock all her devices. Messenger was on so I wouldn't accidentally stumble on the surprise. She was asking about friends she hadn't met, so she could include them and invite them to my party. She said she wanted it to be big, like almost an event, that she'd been stressing about money, so she could earn enough extra to afford it. I asked her why she'd been so distant then and not very affectionate, and she looked confused and said she noted I was usually not in a great mood and didn't seem to want her to touch me a lot, so she was giving me space, and she figured after the party, where she then showed me the reservations of my surprised weekend in a vacation town, not far from where we live, we would have time on the surprise vacation weekend to reconnect and reset. Jason then handed over his phone to show me the conversations that were deleted off Sunny's phone, and I looked them all over, taking my time to read everything they all had to do with the party. He offered for me to scroll back as far as I liked, as he had nothing deleted and nothing to hide, and I did scroll a lot, all the way to their first text. The "does she know" text was about the party, he said, because I seemed tense around him, and he felt I was being cagey when he and I texted, which around the time I suspected him to be sleeping with my GF. At this point, I could see Sunny was holding back tears, and she handed me her phone and again offered for me to look through every app if I wanted, but I said no. I didn't really know what to say from there, because I frankly figured they were both there to confess to the affair. I rolled over everything in my head and just sat there silent. After a short while, when our food arrived, Jason asked if I had any questions and I said no. He asked me if I still thought there was an affair and I shook my head. My whole face felt hot and I just wanted to leave. He then asked me that since the cat was out of the bag about the party, if I wanted to be involved in the rest of the last-minute planning, and I said no. Sunny started apologizing, saying she never thought I would think she was cheating, that she frowned when I accused her because she was drunk and shocked. It had hurt her deeply, that I really believed that, and she didn't know how to maintain secrecy of the party and keep me from breaking up with her, thinking she was shagging my friend. She said that she had never planned a surprise before and didn't want to ruin it. She asked me what I wanted to do or where we stood now, and I just stared at them. Frowning, I just shrugged and didn't really look them in the eye, and we ate in relative silence. I paid our whole tab and left quickly while Sunny was in the bathroom. Jason asked if I wanted to wait until Sunny got back, but I didn't even answer and just rushed to my car and cried. I know I'm a coward and an ass. I have no idea how I am even going to face any of my friends, because I saw in the group chat Sunny explained that I thought there was an affair, and what she should tell me to not ruin the surprise. My friends mostly suggested she just tell me the truth, noting my past relationship and how broken I was after. It felt weird to see how they viewed me and how right they were, and now I just feel like an ass. I texted Sunny that we should probably talk one-on-one when we calmed down, and she's replied that she really needs to take some time to breathe now that everything is out in the open. I said I understood and asked how long she needed and if we can maybe talk tomorrow, and she hasn't responded. Jason has since forwarded me some of the proof they showed me at brunch and just said, here if you need to talk and nothing more. I know I need to apologize, but I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know how to fix this now, or how to make it up to Sunny or Jason. I can hear Bev moving around downstairs, and I can't even face her. I'm still mad at her for not telling me the truth, but I know how unfair I am being. What the fuck do I even do? Oop answered questions mostly in one comment. Greater than sorry, there was a lot here, and I went from spiking my tea with whiskey to just drinking whiskey, so I will do my best. Greater than, do you want to be with Sunny? Greater than short answer. I love the shit out of her. We were friends before we became a couple. I knew I was in love with her about a month ago, but haven't grown the tits to say it yet, and she's not said it to me either outside of our friends way we say it with friends. Greater than, but you need to put some distance between you and Bev, because as a woman something doesn't sit with how she handled this situation. When to be honest, there were many chances for her to help, but I do get we lock up, but remember, doing what is right takes priority no matter what others say. Greater than, I really think Bev just got stuck. I've known her for years, and when we talked I could see she felt terrible and really was lost about the whole thing. Plus she showed me some messages she got from other friends, and she felt pressure to not spill the details. Either way, I think we've talked it out well enough for now. Greater than, if you don't want anyone, then I think you need to distance yourself from Bev, Sunny, and Jason for a while. Greater than, I don't have a lot of friends. I would argue Bev is my true only friend, and I have friendly folks I know, but in therapy I've learned it's best to say Bev is my BFF and the others are friends. I think I try to distance myself to save myself harm, as some people can suck. Greater than, I hope I covered everything. IDK. Update 3, July 23, 2024. I read through the comments and realized, to my fear of being too long-winded, I skipped over some important context. Also, any and all comments that are just insults against my GF, DFF, and divided by or myself, congrats. I didn't read them, and I sure as hell ain't wasting my time to reply to them. Does that actually work for you normally, Lamel? Anyway, context. Sorry if I wasn't clearer before. This is my first time making posts. I usually just read. I wasn't in the she's definitely cheating mindset for weeks like some comments suggested. It was all over the course of 2 days, 3 tops. Before that I was just confused by her behavior and didn't really know what the fuck was going on. No one left me to wallow like that for weeks on end. I was vocal for a short time before the brunch. Everyone was operating off of a comment I made when Bev's BF threw her a big surprise party last year, and I made an offhand comment of how cool that was because I always plan my own stuff, and it would be awesome to have a surprise party planned by my friends or partner. Bev is my BFF, and there is nothing romantic between us before this or after this. She's engaged to my brother, and both of them are about as straight as a designated sock drawer. I am set to be their MOH in the wedding. Anyone thinking she wants in my pants really needs to touch grass. This isn't bad anime. I do refer to Bev as my only friend, because we've been childhood buddies, and I realize that confused people. I do have other friends that I'm just not very close to at all. Most of them are Bev or Jason or my brother's friends, and I am in the friend group. So I am now referring to Bev as my BFF, and the others as friends to avoid the confusion. Some of the others did pressure Bev to be subtle and not ruin the surprise, and there are more below. I actually found out this morning. I am not a man. I am a lesbian. Indeed, my ex-boyfriend turned me gay. Lamau, kidding. I've always been gay but didn't know until after my ex. Sunny is bi for those who are confused. Jason is also not trying to screw me. He is married to Bev's sister, Deanna F37. I don't mention her because she frankly hates Sunny and I don't tolerate people disrespecting my GF, so she now also hates me. Jason just usually keeps us all pretty separate, though we are cordial when in each other's presence now. Sunny is not the abusive cheating ex, those are different people. He was a malicious unfaithful toad. Yes, I am already in therapy. I mean, it's in the username lol. I had a depressive episode earlier this year, and thus I can call emergency sessions with one of the 3 therapists I've been seeing since then. Without getting too much into my issues, if you're struggling, fucking go to therapy. If at all accessible where you live, it might be more accessible than you think, as the program I use was free, while I didn't have insurance at first. I think that's most of the misconceptions I've read. Well, good morning to the hundreds of people who commented on my last freaking post. I honestly expected maybe 20. It was a bit overwhelming. Thanks to everyone with actual advice, ideas, kind words, and constructive criticism, or sent me kind messages. I have an update for you, and a special make love to a rusty spoon to anyone who spend their time trolling posts just to be mean for no clear reason, or being a homophobic pizza of camel poo. You can leave lol. I'm in a jolly mood this morning because a lot has been cleared up. I spent most of last night on FaceTime and text, trying to suss out what to do and what everyone was feeling. Turns out the friend group was as split as Reddit on whether or not I suck, which was fine with me, because I feel I am the overall. Bev helped clear a lot up by giving me her tablet and showing me the conversations she had outside the group chat. Turns out there were 3 friends that really pushed for this, and out of these gorgons, the ringleader is Tammy F35, who is also a bridesmaid of Bev's and has been trouble ever since she's been asked. I won't bore with the whole story, but she's one of those pushy people in a wedding party that wants to make it about them. Bev and Sunny too, I found out, was getting messages calling her a buzzkill, wet blanket, and way worse, mostly from those 3. They advised her to be a subtle in talking me down to not ruin this for everyone. My brother is pissed at me and blames me for Bev being bullied and tells me she was so stressed out she was vomiting and would spend hours at his place stressing out about what to do. I also found out that Sunny planned to propose at the party, which was a huge reason everyone wanted to keep it under wraps. A few friends, including Jason and Bev, were wanting to simply be unspecific but say there is a surprise, and they can't tell me what it is yet. But one of the gorgons told Sunny that she may as well cancel the proposal then, because if I see it coming, it will be so wholly disappointing that I won't enjoy any of it, as the whole point was to fulfill my dream of having a surprise party planned by myself. As far as I am concerned, everyone's judgment, mine included, was messed up here. Most everyone, even one of the gorgons, has apologized once they got the full story of what happened. Bev has been nothing but apologies, and has been doing everything she can to make it up to me. Jason apologized in the way that Jason usually does. I'm sorry you felt seen. Why, they, etc. I since apologized to the people I felt I should. Sunny, Bev, my brother, and Jason. I jumped to a conclusion, and instead of gathering evidence and being sure, I went to accusations. I came up with a whole situation in my head that Jason and Sunny were having an affair, which looking back is the silliest conclusion to jump to. But I was drunk and emotional, not an excuse, so my judgment was way off. You don't know those two, but they wouldn't mesh well. As for Sunny, we talked late last night, divided by early this morning. I got to apologize also for running out on her, and explained how I was feeling. She apologized for everything, and putting a proposal as a concept over my actual happiness. We've decided that we're not ready for engagements or anything like that, but we are good together, and just need to learn to communicate better. She and I are going to have therapy together, and try to get the tools needed to do that. The only person I'm on the outs with is Jason's wife, and the lead gorgon, and that's okay with me right now. My brother and I still have some mending to do, and I don't know what to do about that, but for now I am focusing on what I can do. We think the party is still happening, as there are elements I don't know about and can act as the surprise, but the guest list has changed given the situation. I am very much looking forward to the vacay with my bae after. I think that's it, so unless anything else goes ass up, this is my final update. AITAH for telling my girlfriend to not be surprised if our daughter gets groomed. Since the beginning of last year, my 25, male girlfriend 25, female has been bringing up the idea of getting our daughter 7, female a phone because she has been bugging her about how some of the kids at school have a phone, post on TikTok divided by Instagram, and so on. Now I have told her the amount of times she has brought this up, that I feel like it's a bad idea because of pedophiles, her age, social media, and so on, to which either just dismisses me as being paranoid or brought up about how I had access to the internet at such an early age. I always told her that's different and that I want to make right by our kid. I not giving her a phone at her age and that if I were to ever give her one, it could only be to make phone calls to us or emergency services, just in case she's ever in a situation which requires her phone. But 5 days ago is when everything came to a blow, and I've just been wondering if I was the asshole for what I had said. I was sitting on the couch watching some TV when my girlfriend came up to me and told me that she's been saving up some money and that this year was the perfect time to give her a phone as she's turning 8. I immediately shut it down and explained to her again that it's a bad idea because of dodgy people on the internet. She might come across gore, porn, be cyberbullied, and all sorts of things, to which she snapped at me and said that I need to stop with the fucking paranoia and that nothing is going to happen to our daughter. I snapped back at her and told her that if she wants to get her a phone then fine, but to not be surprised if she finds out that our daughter is getting groomed. It's been 5 days since that happened and she's barely talked to me. AITAH. Edit. Just wanted to address certain comments. She told me if I was to ever add restrictions, that she would just go ahead and disable it as our daughter deserves more freedom on the phone and didn't want to be seen as the controlling parent. TIFU by texting my date that I might end up marrying him seconds after we ended our date plus for year update. August 5, 2020. This just happened to me, literally 10 minutes ago. I am dying, I am dead, and me now, a holy ghost. I thought this only happened in some poorly written rom-coms, the kind where life hardly imitates the real one. I want to bury myself and never come to see the light again. Why me? Oh, why me? 10 painfully long minutes ago. Exalted by the wonderful date, I went with this handsomely gorgeous man, who also happened to be a friend of mine for the last 3 years. Against my apartment door that I had just closed on his beautiful face, I typed these words that will fiercely haunt me now. Bitch, I think I'm going to end up marrying this guy. This was meant for my best friend, the only other soul I could muster to express my vulnerable feelings. I sent this deeply poetic text to him instead. Do you think there is a void big enough in this planet to hold all my misery, all the embarrassment? Do you think I can make a pact with the devil to turn back time? I would just need 10 minutes. That'd be really nice. Can I please die now? Literal and metaphorical death is the only relief I might know. I am currently in my library, sprawled across the floor intently staring at the ceiling. Man, I think I'll be here forever. TL, Doctor, I mistakenly texted my date that I might end up marrying him as we just ended our date. Realized too late. The text meant for my best friend was sent to him instead. Bitch, I owe you an update. Good news. There's so much staring at the ceiling one can do before pure boredom kicks in the realization that the desire to scream fuck at the top of your lungs will most likely not last for an eternity. Bad news. You guys did me dirty by blasting my still fresh embarrassment on the front page, and apparently on a famous Portuguese radio show this morning. Cool. So, on to the meaty love update. Once I realized the text blunder, I quickly texted him that it was not meant for him, with a crying emoji for good measure. Sweet man that he is. He responded immediately to let me know that he doesn't read texts not meant for him. I subsequently asked for permission to die. He said, please don't. This morning, he texted me about some travel plans we have down the line. Bless this handsome man. The gods are cruel, but not that cruel. This is where I should clarify that the original post was obviously a tad hyperbolic, just like that text. Go figure. I slept well last night, and I also laughed at myself. The blunder. Just the ridiculous timing. What also got imprinted on me was that exact moment I wrote and sent that text. The moment he leaned and kissed me goodnight. I looking at him as I closed my apartment door, locking it and at once turning around and heavily sighing and smiling, keys still in hand. 2 weeks ago, he had proposed going on a walk at the park. I had an inkling somehow that after knowing each other for 3 years, he was going to finally, perhaps, become vulnerable and share a few things. I had been in a serious relationship when we met. And what I know now to be out of respect in my ironclad boundaries. He never made any advances, but I was single now, and at the park, sitting there, together, he looked at me and said he had feelings for me. Long time, 3-year-long feelings, and right there at Prospect Park, on a clear night, under some 35 visible stars we counted. He kissed me. Last night, it was my turn to be vulnerable, even if accidentally. For once, I think I understand Ted. He was always the guy I wanted to throw my shoe at whenever his ridiculous face showed up on the screen, which was a lot. As for the library, I'm not Jane Austen, but I'm a New Yorker, and the luxury of ample space is not something I recognize. My dream as a child refugee, growing up in deep poverty, was to have a dedicated place for all the books I could buy when I would grow up and have money. Here's a pic of my library nook that I built through vintage thrifting, DIY projects and patience. The library. This is it, folks. The update. I might prefer this life over any rom-com. Relevant MMENTS. The pic of the library is gone, but Oop explains it in a comment. Greater than you guys, it's not a literal library. It's a corner of my apartment I've turned into a library nook. Also, for what is worth, this is an embarrassing story that just literally happened to me, but believe me, as a refugee who has suffered through deep poverty from early childhood, I'm well aware of all of the hardships existing out there. No, let me go back to staring at the ceiling. Just a minute. Greater than you. Just ruined my mental picture of you in a dramatic swoon across a plush tapestry on the floor of a dusty Victorian library, cheeks flushed and with the back of your hand across your forehead, muttering things like, "Woe is me," and "Verily, I am vexed." Commenter. Greater than make it into a joke. Bring up that that's what they say in those rom-coms, and honestly just make it a laughable experience for both. Greater than example. Bitch, I think I'm going to end up marrying this guy, says every girl on a rom-com. Greater than make it into a quote. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm the type of person to turn my fuck up into a joke. Of greater than I'm probably going to greet him with a chirpy hi, husband, next time I see him. Commenter. Greater than you can only refer to him as bitch from here on out. TIFF update July 17th, 2024. 4 years later. Bitch, we got married. 3 years after I mistakenly pressed send, texting this gorgeous specimen of a guy I would marry him seconds after ending our first date. Keys still in hand as I struggled to both text and lock the door, and subsequently sprawled across my library wishing for the floor to engulf me. I did end up marrying the man. Damn, what in the world, life? But I'd let you guys know since you did help me with your funny comments and shared shameful moments to eventually get myself up that fateful evening, dust myself off, and not commit cringe seppuku. It's been 3 years of pure joy, and he's still as dreamy and kind. You guys, and it was kids. That's how I met your father after all. See you in the next chapter. TL, Doctor, bitch, I married the man. Sending that text by mistake 3 years ago, telling him I'd marry him right after our first date was just the truth.